to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into pay dirt in a one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
Hey, what is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast, day 11 of Indianapolis Colts training camp. A couple different things for you guys to be aware of. There's actually a good amount of things for you guys to be aware of. First off, I want to let you guys know, Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson were both spotted at practice. They were also both without boots on. Now, Frank Reich said this isn't irregular, so certainly great to see that both the recoveries are going on well, and also good to see that they're both out there at practice with their teammates. Obviously, their timetable is to be determined at this point, but just wanted to update you guys there. The Colts also released their depth chart, and I wanted to kind of talk about a few notable things on their depth chart for week number 1. First off, the quarterback, Jacob Eason, will get the start on Sunday against the Carolina Panthers. Frank Reich had said that right now they're trying to split up the reps a little bit between him and Sam Ehlinger. So Ehlinger will get some action maybe in the second quarter, second half, somewhere around there. So that's something to be aware of. Some other things, left tackle has been a big thing that people have noticed. It looks like right now Will Holden is going to be the starter for week number 1 at left tackle. It seems like the Colts have been kind of rotating guys. We know how much Sam Tevi has struggled from what all we've seen, from all the reports have been. So Will Holden gets the nod there at left tackle. Another thing is Ashton Dulin is ahead of Desmond Patman right now on the depth chart, so that's a note. Zach Pascal is also the primary slot receiver instead of Paris Campbell at this point. Also, defensive end has been a big question mark. Okay, who's going to get the start? Who's going to get the nod? Looks like the two guys we thought potentially at the beginning of camp, Tyquan Lewis and also first-round pick Kwity Paye, will get the starts at the defensive ends going into week 1 according to the depth chart. Another thing for the Sam linebacker, which has been a big competition that we've been watching, looks like Zaire Franklin will get the start right now on the depth chart. He's ahead of guys like EJ Speed and Matthew Adams. Not really a surprise there. What is a little bit of a surprise, TJ Carey is listed as the number 2 corner right now for the Colts, ahead of guys like Rock Ya-Sin and Marvell Tell. So that'll be something worth monitoring as well. Andre Chikari, sorry if I butchered that. I'm sure I did. But nobody really knows who he is. He's been having some run at free safety, and he's getting listed as the primary backup right now at that free safety. Another thing that's really interesting, Marlon Mack was the primary backup in terms of kick returns. So he may get some run at kick returns. We've never really seen Marlon Mack doing kick returns. So that's something of note for you guys to be interested in. Just a few things on this depth chart going in. Obviously, week 1 of the preseason, things are still very fluid. Things can change really quickly, but just wanted to update you guys there. All right, let's move on now to the actual training camp itself. So a few things here. First off, we got to talk about the quarterback position. Like I mentioned earlier, at the depth chart, Jacob Eason right now is the starter according to the unofficial depth chart for week number 1. However, Sam Ehlinger did get some run with the ones today, which I thought was very interesting. Today's practice, Jacob Eason looked really good. He was 9 of 10. He was 4 or 5 with the starters, which is obviously really good. He also completed 9 different passes to 9 different guys, which is definitely good to spread the ball around. Sam Ehlinger got some time with the ones. He was 5 of 11 total, 4 of 6 with the ones. It was probably his least efficient day. And I mean, that shouldn't come as much of a surprise. I mean, it's his first day running with the ones. We saw when Jacob Eason's first day running with the ones, he struggled a little bit. So it shouldn't be a surprise. But one thing that's really kind of irked me, and you guys have seen it before, and I tried to send out some tweets today to just kind of clarify my stance on it. Look, I don't have anything against Sam Ehlinger at all. I really don't. I like the guy. I like the kid. I like that the Colts drafted him in that 6th round because I think obviously they saw something in him, and he's shown that even in practice. That's what different people have said. I just think it's unfair to judge his stats to Jacob Eason's when he's going against the 2s and Jacob Eason's going against the 1s, right? This Colts defense, like I mentioned, is a top 10 defense. Now, we saw a little bit. He kind of struggled a little bit at certain points, and it shouldn't come as a shock, shouldn't come as a surprise. Not that bad, actually, for Sam Ehlinger if you look at it just against the starters, but from a whole practice standpoint, wasn't one of his best days. But Jacob Eason looked really good, which I think is definitely positive, trending in the right direction. So that's of note for the quarterback position, something you guys should be aware of from today. An injury update. Braden Smith was out today. Frank Reich called it a rest day. He had a boot on his left foot, but I mean, you kind of put boots on everything now. It's just more of a precautionary thing. I know that'll instantly trigger people to think, oh man, it's big, it's worse than it is. Reich was very adamant that no, this is just us being very careful with him. It's a rest day for him. Just wanted to be careful for him. I mean, what are you going to expect with this offense struggling a little bit? I mean, they're down 4 of their starting offensive linemen right now. I mean, the only guy that was out there was Mark Glowinski today. So if that tells you anything, how banged up this offensive line is right now, that should indicate, although Braden Smith hopefully should be back here within the next couple days. But, there's no rush. There's no reason to try to rush him out there if he's dealing with something minor. So that's something of note. Definitely want to just give him all the rest that he needs right now. This is some highlights that I kind of saw and kind of heard from. It looked like Jack Doyle's continuing to have good days. Paris Campbell as well, having great days. It also looks like Andre Shikari is also looking pretty good. He had a pick off of Ehlinger today. So it looks like there's give and take with these wide receivers and his defensive backs. Looks like sometimes these wide receivers are beating these defensive backs. Sometimes the opposite is happening. So that's definitely good to see these guys iron sharpening iron there. Also, a big thing from today's practice, Darius Leonard returned for the first time, his first day of camp. Obviously, he was dealing with that injury, but he was so hyped to get back out there, which is definitely great to see. EJ Speed also has another great day. I even tweeted out earlier, I am so excited to see what EJ Speed can bring these preseason games and even in week 1 against Carolina. So I'm really looking forward to that. So just for you guys to know kind of how this week is going to work a little bit, the Colts will have joint practices with the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, they will post them on Sunday, but they will have a couple joint practices later on this week, Thursday and Friday, 60 minutes. So just so you guys know, that's when it's going to officially start. So the Colts have a couple more days just practicing against each other before Carolina comes to town. So the rest of this week is going to kind of look like this. All right, there's going to be a Wednesday practice. There's going to be a Thursday practice. There's going to be a Friday practice. And then the Colts are off on Saturday, play Carolina on Sunday. And then they're back off on Monday. Then they resume practice on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday. And then obviously they're going into their next week. So just a little bit of an update from camp. There were some things of note, but not really anything of topic of conversation. But just wanted to update you guys on day 11 of Indianapolis Colts training camp. Some good news, some not great news. So, yeah, guys, that's my kind of recap here of day number 11 of training camp. Like I said, and like I said before, I will be out at camp tomorrow. Derek will be out at camp. We have a great opportunity with Keith, who obviously is an executive with the Indianapolis Colts. He's invited us to camp. And so we're really, really looking forward to that. But thank you guys so much. Really appreciate all your support. Seriously, it's been so overwhelming, all the support you guys have given us. And also, guys, we're giving away preseason tickets to the Carolina game, right? With being season ticket holders, we wanted to give back to some of you guys. So we're giving away 2 tickets to the Indianapolis Colts versus Carolina Panthers week 1 of the preseason. So if you guys are curious, okay, how do I get entered into that? Go on to Twitter, go on to Facebook, go on to Instagram, go on to one of them and follow the instructions there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it, like I said. And as always, guys, go Colts.